Trudeau and his Liberals still searching for the right answer to their question. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. We've had town halls held across the country by local MPs. The Minister of Democratic Reform even went across the country holding town halls in various places, cities big and small, across the country. We've had a parliamentary committee hold hearings for weeks on end in Ottawa, and then themselves travel across the country to get input from Canadians on how we should, or if we should, change our voting system. But so far, the Liberals haven't gotten the answers that they wanted. The parliamentary committee came back with a report that said there should be some sort of proportional representation, but you pick the system and then hold a referendum that puts that up against the current first-past-the-post system. At town halls, the Liberals didn't hear an awful lot of support for their preferred option, which is a single transferable ballot or ranked ballot, one that basically says you've got to choose option 1, option 2, option 3, what's your preferred outcome. They want this because they think they're everyone's second choice and will be in government forever if they go that route. But Canadians don't back that. They didn't back it with the parliamentary committee, and they didn't back it at the town halls. In fact, at the town halls, they heard from an awful lot of people that said they like the current system and they want a referendum. So, what's Justin Trudeau and his Minister of Democratic Reform, Mario Monsef, to do? Well, they're doing another round of consultations. They've launched a website called mydemocracy.ca that asks an awful lot of questions, but none of them directly related to first past the post, proportional rep. No, these are what are called values-based questions.
Research around the world shows, as does the report from the committee, that the best way to have a conversation that is inclusive, that is accessible about electoral reform with the citizenry is through a value-based approach.
It's funny to see Monsef standing up in the House of Commons saying that we need to have values-based questioning and research. I thought Canadian values were racist and something we didn't have anyway. But now that they need them, they have them. The website has a number of questions put to you, and they come down, and you'll see on the website itself, into areas of values, preferences, priorities, your personal profile, and then the results. But like I said, these questions ask kind of 50,000-foot level questions most of the time. Some of them are fairly direct, such as question 1, when I did it most recently. The voting age for federal elections should be lowered. You can strongly agree, somewhat disagree, be neutral, somewhat agree, or strongly agree. They also ask, eligible voters should not be forced to vote. Kind of an odd way to phrase that question, I'd say, wouldn't you? Then there's this one, Proposition 5. The day of a federal election should be a statutory holiday. But most of the questions, in my mind, seem to be trying to get you to one position, the government's position, that you want some kind of change, you just don't know it, and you don't know what kind of change you want. Check out this one, Proposition 7. Government should have to negotiate their policy decisions with other parties in Parliament, even if it is less clear who is accountable for the resulting policy. That is very similar to how you get to Proposition 9. Voters should be able to express multiple preferences on the ballot, even if it means it takes longer to count the ballots and announce the election results. Or Proposition 11. It's better for several parties to have to govern together than for one party to make all the decisions in government, even if it takes longer for the government to get things done. That kind of question shows up again when you get to the preferences. You've already answered all of this in the values section. Now they want to know your preferences. We'll check out question 1 on the preferences. One party governs and is solely accountable for policy outcomes, or several parties must cooperate to govern and they share accountability for policy outcomes. Which sounds oddly similar to a government where one party governs and can make decisions on its own, or a government where several parties have to collectively agree before a decision is made. It doesn't matter what you answer to these, the outcome's going to be the same. You will be told at the end, as I was, and as others have been, who oppose changing our voting system, that what you really want is change. It's why Conservative MP Scott Reid mocked it so effectively in the House of Commons.
Mr. Speaker, being on mydemocracy.ca doesn't feel like a value-based approach. It feels like being on a dating website designed by Fidel Castro. No matter how hard you try to be against the Prime Minister's preferred electoral system, the survey tells you that you really do support it. It's like magic. Also with this website, the government has finally found a way of resolving the problem that Canadians keep on giving Liberals the answers they don't want. Just don't ask those questions. For example, the questionnaire doesn't ask whether Canadians want a referendum. And I wonder why that might be. Would it be because the Liberals don't want to know the answer to that particular question?
He's right. It is like a dating system, a dating website designed by Fidel Castro. At the end, you always love Fidel. This is the same people, the same kind of design that brought us the Vote Compass several years ago at CBC that didn't matter what you answered. If you were a New Democrat or a Conservative, you were told you were a Liberal. This is telling you that you want change. It's a ridiculous way to consult, but it's the only way the Liberals have left to try and get to the answer that they want. It's time to tell them no. I want you to go and sign our petition once again at letusvote.ca. That's letusvote.ca. Share it online, share it on Facebook, tweet it out, and tell the government one thing and one thing clearly, whether you agree with electoral reform or don't want it at all. In the end, the voting system belongs to us, and we deserve to have a say. Letusvote.ca. Go now, sign the petition, share it widely. Hey, if you like what you just watched, make sure you never miss another Rebel video again. Click here. You'll subscribe to our YouTube channel or head on over to therebel.media and become a member. Access premium content only available to the select few.